franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating, or relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com.
Relationships, sex, passion with Dr. Laurie Betito. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
Welcome to Passion, a show all about love, sex, and relationships. I'm Dr. Laurie Betito. I'm a clinical psychologist and a sex therapist. And tonight we have a regular monthly feature that we call Dating Dilemmas. I'm joined by Frank Kermit. He is a dating coach, a best-selling author, and an educator. He's also the relationship columnist for the West End Times, the newspaper. And tonight we're going to talk about the whole seduction thing. What is seduction? Having a more seductive lifestyle. We'll find out what all that is about. Why? Because we want to help single people in dating, in meeting, in how to be successful, all of that. And even to help you further, tonight, every caller who calls into the program and contributes to the program will get a weekend passport to the Solo Lifestyle Show taking place this weekend. The Solo Lifestyle Show taking place at Place Bonaventure from the 23rd to the 25th, full of conferences and activities and beauty, nutrition, dating stuff. In fact, Frank here is one of the keynote speakers at the Solo Lifestyle Conference. So, by the way, the website, vivreensolo.com. So we've got weekend passports to give away to everyone who calls in to the program tonight. But, you want to be single or at least know somebody who's single you can give it to. Hey, Frank, welcome back.
Thank you, Dr. Laurie. It's fantastic to be here.
Well, it's great to have you back on the program, of course. And, there was one thing I wanted to mention. A few times, I know that, your workshops happen every Saturday night, and you've been asked a lot to do some, speed dating stuff, I hear.
Ever since I was on your show talking about speed dating, I have received emails and phone calls saying, please sign me up for the next speed dating event. To which I was replying, I'm not organizing a speed dating event, but I figure if the demand is there...
Well, now you're thinking, okay, maybe I better do this.
Yeah, so on Saturday night, December the 1st at 7 p.m., I'm holding an all-ages speed dating event. You have to be at least 18 years old to attend. And we're going to run the experiment. So everybody who's been contacting me wanting to do something in Montreal for speed dating, this is your chance. And I'm not restricting it to age. I'm not restricting it to religion. If you want to meet people, this is an opportunity to meet a lot of people in one night.
It's also an opportunity to just try out what speed dating is. Even if it's not find out if it's your speed or not. But even if nothing comes of it, it's a practice. I think there's a very good opportunity to practice how, putting some of the lessons you've been teaching into practice.
Well, I'm going to be doing a little introduction and giving people specific questions to ask. So it's basically a speed dating training as well as a speed dating event.
Okay, that makes sense. Is there a cost to this?
It'll be, at this point, we're looking at no more than $10 a person.
Well, that's very reasonable. Well, there you have it. That's on Saturday night, December 1st. franktalks.com is Frank's website, and you can get more information. Our phone number's here, 514-790-0991, Star Talk, star 8255 on your cell, and you can text us as well at 514-800. And we want to hear your thoughts. Have you ever felt seduced by somebody? Have you ever wanted to be able to seduce someone? And what do you think seduction actually means? Maybe we can get a bunch of definitions in here of what you think seductive behavior is, or what is it that you could do that would seduce someone. And when I hear the word seduce, it has a bit of a negative connotation, I have to say. Like in the whole dating thing, how to learn to seduce. Almost sounds like I'm going to trick you into liking me kind of thing.
Manipulation.
Yeah,
That's
right.
And if I had known that seduction had such a negative connotation, I don't think I ever would have called myself a seducer back in those days.
Okay.
Because growing up, the great seducer for me was Pepe Le Pew. When the idea that, oh my dear, I will bring you over and we will make beautiful passion together. I mean, I was always thinking, I want to be Pepe Le Pew. I would just want to be out there and not afraid and just grab somebody and say, yes, we will make passionate love and we will plan a future together. It wasn't until much later on I understood the historical significance of seduction. And the fact is, the idea that if somebody was charged with the crime of seduction, he was charged with the crime of making a woman do something she didn't actually want to do.
Okay.
The idea that you could be lured into breaking your morals, into crossing your boundaries.
Right.
And that's not what seduction actually is. Just like hypnosis. You can't make somebody do something that they're not already intrigued to do. You can't, you know how they say you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? Well, you can lead somebody to the bedroom, but you can't force them to take their clothes off. It's
Right. Well, you hope not anyway. You don't want to anyway.
Exactly.
That's called rape, sexual assault. Yeah, that's not part of seducing. So what does it mean to seduce?
In the way that I teach it, in the way that I go through my process, when someone is seduced by you, it means that they're thinking about you when you're not around, and they're thinking of a potential future with you. So, if I'm on a date with somebody and I'm trying to seduce her, I'm trying to present myself in a way that's going to have her thinking about me later on when I'm not around. And if she's thinking about me, she's thinking about what are we going to do on our date? And she's going to start imagining what our date is going to be like and how it's going to go. Maybe I've even talked about what my future plans are. The idea that I'm going to be storytelling and talking about what my plans are down the road and how it fits in and matches her values. So she's going to be thinking, wow, I could have a future with this guy because what he wants to do is very in line with what I want to do.
Right. But you wouldn't be making that up just because you know what she wants to do.
No, the idea here is that if you have to lie, then you don't have relationship skills. The idea is to actually talk about something that's true in your life and match those up with her values.
Right, because we have to be careful that seducing doesn't mean we say whatever to get the person into bed.
Well,
like,
if you're going to lie, you don't need to seduce. This is something I try to communicate. If you want to lie, if you're going to lie, you don't really need to take a seminar in seduction. The whole point of seduction is being able to be honest and authentic, communicating exactly who you are. That also means you're not going to get every person. And this goes for guys and girls. You're not going to get every person you're trying to seduce.
Right.
And if you are getting every single person you're trying to seduce, you're probably lying.
The difference between lying and seduction. We're finding that out tonight and more. And we'll take your calls as well on the topic of seduction here on Dating Dilemmas with Frank Kermit on Passion, right here on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Dating Dilemmas tonight on Passion, and every caller tonight gets a weekend passport to the Solo Lifestyle show taking place this coming weekend. It's for singles, and there's all kinds of activities. In fact, there are workshops, one of which is our very own Frank Kermit is giving a workshop there at the Solo Lifestyle Conference. So you get a ticket if you call in and share some thoughts with us. We're talking about what it is to be seductive. Have you ever been seduced? What works for you? And how would you define seduction? 514-790-0991, or you can text at 514-800. And Margaret joins us on the program. Hey, Margaret.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'd like to, it's a kind of a question and a comment.
Sure.
I'd like to ask what role, how you cologne and perfume and smelling clean plays if it's really, because one thing, I pride myself on smelling good and being clean and nice cologne and whatever when I go anywhere. And
right.
I have to say my friends and I have noticed a lot of men don't seem to pay any attention to how their breath is and how their body is. They don't smell very good.
What a good point you just brought up. The hygiene thing, I think as a woman, that's number one on my list. Somebody with that doesn't appear to have good hygiene is a complete turn off. It doesn't matter how good looking they are.
Exactly.
I agree, and I spend so much time with the guys when I'm training them to focus on exactly that. Thing is that what I do with guys is I relate everything to sex.
Okay.
And that's what works to make them understand why it's so important. So when I tell them things like, you have to brush your teeth and bring a little bottle of mouthwash wherever you go. But why? Because if your breath smells good and your teeth are clean, she's more likely to kiss you. Oh, and that's what reaches guys. That's what makes them say, oh, I get it now. So if I take care of myself, she'll want to be with me. Yes, because a lot of guys just assume that women are the same way as guys are. That if there's an opportunity,
don't care?
Yeah, that pretty much if there's an opportunity, they'll just hit it. They'll just go for it. And the fact is, women are on the receiving end of so much sexual attention. She has sexual choice in that respect. A guy doesn't. So
she ain't gonna choose the smelly guy. That's
exactly.
for sure.
Excuse me, does this mean that men don't care if the woman smells bad? They don't have any...
I think that for some men...
They care less.
they that's it. They care less. It doesn't mean they don't care at all, but they care less, and because they have to work for whatever sexual attention they do get, sometimes they'll just ignore it just so that they can get the sex.
Oh my gosh, that's so...
I know,
so
it reduces it to... look, it's not everybody. I don't want to offend some guys that really do take care of themselves and really do care about that. But I hear what you're saying, Frank. I think... guys, women do care a little bit more, possibly. And good hygiene, I agree with you, Margaret, is an absolute must.
Yes.
Iron your clothes, wear clean clothes, smell nice, take a shower right before, no greasy hair, your breath smells good. You got to pay attention to those details. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Margaret, you want to go to the Solo Lifestyle show?
Oh, sure.
All right. Well, then you're going to, you got yourself a weekend passport.
Thank you so much.
All right, Margaret. Thanks so much for calling in. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sarah, hi. Welcome to the program.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
I have a question regarding seduction and flirting.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a thin line between those two, or?
That's a good question. The difference between seduction and flirting.
Yes, there is a thin line. When you're flirting, you're basically putting out feelers. You're checking out to see if the person flirts back with you and if there is some sort of mutual attraction and a playfulness there. Once you escalate that to discussions about spending time in the future together, that's where it becomes more seductive. So if I was going to flirt with you, Sarah, I might say something along the lines of, I might comment on your eyes. I might try to pay you a compliment, make you feel good about something very silly, but I'm definitely putting it out there that I like your look or I like something that you've said and I'm intrigued by you. Once we go from there to, I could totally envision myself, seeing us walking along the beach together. That's where we're going from flirting to seduction.
Okay.
Makes sense. Sarah, are you single?
Yes.
You want to go? You want to go to the Solo Lifestyle show?
Yes.
It might be.
I'm afraid of going by myself. So.
No, don't be afraid. Go find Frank when you're there. Actually, he's got a booth.
Sarah, my booth is the third booth from the door when you walk in, so you're more than welcome to come and have a seat.
He'll help you. You could just sit with Frank, and he'll get you going out there, okay? So go. Perfect. Don't stay home. If you want to meet somebody, you can't be afraid of going out on your own.
No, great.
All right?
You.
Okay, Sarah, have a great time.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye now. Do we have Debbie? No, not yet. All right. 514-790-0991 is the number to call. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Debbie?
Okay, how are you?
Good.
I'd like to go back to what this other caller said about perfumes and colognes and smelling good.
Yes.
Okay, now the thing is, I have allergies.
Ah.
So how do you say in a nice way if, guy is wearing something that you find is so overpowering?
Yeah, that's a good point. And women do this too. Women don't recognize sometimes that they put on so much perfume, or they like the smell of their own perfume, but sometimes it's vile to other people. It's so strong to other people.
Well, I don't wear perfume to begin with, and because I'm just very sensitive to it.
So how do you tell somebody you want to date or whatever that they are?
First of all, you should always be honest before you get to the date. And if you struggle with being very direct, you tell them in the form of a story. So one of the things you might want to say is talk about a time where you were someplace and then somebody was wearing a really strong cologne and it gave you a migraine or it had some sort of an effect on you. And if it was about a past date, you can talk about how you needed to end the date early. By telling this sort of story to the guy that you're about to date, it'll put it in his head, oh, I better be very careful with scents. So if it's a situation where you have access to the guy before the date and it's not a blind date and you can actually have a quick conversation, that should be one of the first stories you tell people in general.
Does that make sense, Debbie?
That makes a lot of sense.
You can just weave it in there so it gets into their heads. And then if that doesn't work, you beat them over the head with a hammer with it.
Well, thank you.
And there is one more thing to consider.
Okay.
Guys love being the hero. So if you're in a position where you didn't get a chance to tell him, if you tell him in a way, I would really appreciate it if we could go someplace that's more open because I have allergies to strong smells. And I just want to make sure that, in case I start getting dizzy, that somebody's going to be there and it'll just be safer for me. If he's looking to be in hero mode, he'll act on that, and he's going to feel good about himself. He'll feel good about his masculinity because he's going out there and he's saving the girl that he's dating.
Well, I was once in a situation where I said something to the guy that I was with, and he got very insulted.
Then he's
the
not
wrong
too
guy
bright.
for you.
He's not too bright.
And the wrong guy for her.
He was.
There you go. You see?
Yeah.
You weed them out that way. What
All
a
right.
perfect way to weed them out. Debbie, you going to go to the solo show?
I hope to.
All right. Well, you've got yourself a weekend pass from us.
Wonderful.
All right. Thanks so much for calling in, Debbie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
514-790-0991. We still have passes to give away, so you can give us a call here on Passion on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Tonight on Passion, dating dilemmas, and our dilemma of the evening, or the issue we are talking about, is the whole seduction thing and the difference between seduction and flirting and seduction and lying and manipulation. We're really trying to learn what it means to seduce. See, it's like to say to be seductive is not bad, but to say to seduce sounds negative. It's interesting, our language in that way.
There's an entire negative association with the word seduction. And here's the irony. The majority of people who get into the world of seduction and to study seduction, the majority are not people just looking for sex. The majority of the people who get into the study of seduction are people who have a specific person in mind that they want to date or be with.
I still can't believe there's even a study of seduction. Like, I know there's a whole world out there that I never knew existed until I got into Passion and started, interviewing people about this and realizing, holy cow, there are people who make their life's work. Mm-hmm. Now, you're one of them. You did it for years.
Yeah.
Coaching people how to be. And like to say there are seduction coaches around. It's kind of weird.
People struggle to connect. People struggle to meet that special person. And one of the biggest struggles we have is when you know that there's someone out there that you really like. It could be someone who's a friend who's rejected your advances. It could be someone that doesn't even know you're alive. And you just want that person to notice you, say hello, and go on a date and take a chance. That's the majority of people who pick up a book on seduction because they've already know what they want, and they're not looking just to get that person for a one-night stand. They want to get into a relationship, and all they can think of is, how do I get that other person to fall in love with me and want to be with me forever? That's the majority of people who pick up a book to study seduction.
Hopefully those aren't the same people who end up stalking.
No, actually, because people who are stalking, they don't study books on seduction. They've already got a twisted mentality that two people are meant to be together,
right.
And it just is.
Right.
Somebody who's studying seduction acknowledges that the other person doesn't want to be with them, has rejected them, or doesn't know they're alive.
So they're saying, how do I make myself more appealing so I get noticed?
Exactly, and that separates them.
And I guess that's what seduction is all about. How do I make somebody notice me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's, you can be seductive or use these techniques in trying to get a job too, I suppose. You're listening to Dating Dilemmas, and we've got a second half of the show coming up and more tickets to give away to the Solo Lifestyle Show. So give us a call here at 514-790-0991. You're listening to Passion on CJAD.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Welcome to the second half of Passion. Tonight we're talking with Frank Kermit. He's here every month for Dating Dilemmas. He's been with us for practically 3 years now, spending time with us, talking about things that have to do with dating, and we pick an issue every month. And this month we're talking about seduction, what it is to be seductive. And it's not a negative thing, as I'm learning. There is a negative connotation when we say learn seduction, although nobody says anything, when we say you want to be seductive, it's almost like, well, that's like associated to women. Seducing is men, being seductive is women. It's almost like, two different things. But so we're talking about that, and what is it, what does it take to be a seducer? And it's not negative. It's not a negative thing. It's about, trying to get somebody's attention and doing it in a honest, and I think that's what we want to talk about, the authentic part of it, because people often think seduction, they think manipulation, they think saying anything to get the girl, and that's really not what we're talking about here. We're giving away tickets, by the way, weekend passports to the Solo Lifestyle Show, and Frank is actually giving a workshop there, but it's taking place at Place Bonaventure this weekend. There's conferences and information booths and activities, and they're offering massages on the spot and dating things and beauty and fashion, and it's going to be huge. There's 65 booths and lots of visitors expected. I think expecting something like 10,000 visitors. So 10,000 single people in one area. So if you're single, this is a very good place to meet somebody. So we've got a weekend pass to give away, and everybody who calls in tonight, we're going to give you a weekend pass, all right? What was the question I asked you just before? Did I ask you a question? I forget. I'm getting carried away. Not yet. Well, we can always go to the phones.
Oh, is there somebody on the line?
Yeah, 514-790-0991. Hi, Christopher. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks.
Hi.
Hello, doctors.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Frank, hi. I do buy some of your books, so it's nice to be able to talk to you.
Oh,
my question, well, since you guys are talking about the negative aspects and dishonesty in seduction, Frank, in your books you make it a big point that a leading man is one of the most important parts about seduction. And I do try to be as honest as possible and make a direct approach and tell the girl that I'm interested in her. But isn't it every girl's dream that she accidentally meets a guy and then he gets to know her and falls in love with her? So in that sense, if you just walk up to her and tell her you find her interesting, then yes, she's kind of impressed that you're confident, but it's not her ideal situation.
As a woman, I disagree. I think that, yes, sometimes women have these Cinderella story type fantasies, but most of us really know that that's just not true. And I think most women would be impressed with someone who could be direct and who does show confidence, because studies do show that confidence is almost the number one factor for women in terms of attractability. So confidence makes a big difference. So you being able to, make your feelings known or your interests known, and having the guts to do that is respected.
Christopher, I want to explain something to you. There is a difference between what a girl will say to a nice guy about what she would like and what she would actually respond to. A lot of women will tell their Cinderella syndrome story to the nice guy, saying, because the nice guy says, well, what are you looking for? Oh, the ideal fantasy would be this. She's not going to tell a nice guy, what I really respect is a guy being direct with me, because if she has to instruct the guy to be direct, she's being his mother, not his potential lover, and it's a turnoff. However, the guy who is direct, the guy who does go up and say, hey, I saw you here, I really liked you, here's my number, let's talk, let's do something, She may even be a bit put off, because there are some women who are a little bit put off being approached that directly, especially if the guy comes off a little uncalibrated, maybe too direct. But she will respond by feeling some sense of attraction, even if initially she might be just a little bit apprehensive. As soon as she realizes, okay, he's not a maniac, he's not crazy, he's not trying to hurt me, he just wants to meet me. Especially at that point, because when guys approach, sometimes they're nervous in approaching, and that comes across as a little bit too intense. Once he gets used to approaching women and he's not exhibiting that kind of intensity, he can come off a lot more calibrated, a lot more charismatic, and she will respond to that.
There's a difference there. Christopher, are you single? I'm assuming you are.
I'm available, if you will.
Okay, I'm not looking, but you could go to the Solo Lifestyle show. Do you want to go?
No, thanks. It's very nice of you.
All right, Christopher. Thanks so much for calling in. Bye.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Mike?
Good. Question I have for you is in regards to that speed dating.
Yeah.
Is the bonus going to be on the guys to kind of seduce the woman, or vice versa, where the women are going to be seducing the men?
Good question. So how does the speed dating work, actually?
The way speed dating works is that the guys are the ones who are going to get up from the table, move over to the next table while the women stay put, and every 5 minutes a new guy is going to be at that table. However, the way I'm structuring it is that I'm giving guys and girls the same list of questions, and you're going to base your ability to seduce, and she's going to base her ability to seduce you on how you're both going to answer those same set of questions.
And remember, seduction here is making yourself interesting to the other person. It's not about, how can I get her necessarily, but how do I make her pay attention to me? It's going to be in the way you answer these very same questions. So you're going to be able to compare how one person answers those questions versus another.
So you're going to make it fair, in other words.
Exactly.
100%. This is not a traditional speed dating event. This is an all ages, you have to be 18 plus, frank speed dating event, and that's going to make all the difference.
Okay, that sounds very interesting because, when it's on the onus on the guys, as you say, the guy could get nervous, he's not sure what's going to happen, so on and so forth. It's like the woman is in control in that situation. But here, if it's done this way, I think it'd be a lot fairer and just more pleasant, in fact.
Yeah, it's a conversation with set guidelines. That's basically it. You guys get to talk about, whatever's in front of you, so it works out. Mike, do you want to go to the Solo Lifestyle show?
Yes, please.
All right, then you've got yourself a weekend pass. It's going to be this weekend. Have a great time, and don't forget to go by and say hello to Frank.
I will.
While you're there. All right, Mike, thanks so much for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, bye. 514-790-0991. Just to remind you, Frank's speed dating event is taking place December 1st. So if you want some information, go to franktalks.com. And I imagine, do you want people to sign up ahead of time? No? What happens if you get more guys than girls? How are you going to work all that out?
Well,
you're going to figure it out.
That's what happens at a speed dating event. This is an experiment. If I get people to sign up ahead of time, there might be additional expectations. This is if you're interested and you just show up, and this is an opportunity to meet somebody so you don't spend the holidays alone.
Good point. There you go. 514-790-0991. Frank, what's the biggest issue when people ask you about seduction? What's that about?
The biggest issue people have is they question, how do I date multiple people at the same time without being a bad person? And this is something that both men and women struggle with. The idea is that they want to go out there, they want to meet a lot of people, and they start going out on dates. And the next thing they know, they're seeing a couple of different people at the same time, and both relationships are starting to escalate into something more serious.
What do you do then?
What do you do then? Exactly. And what I talk about is, now wait a minute. Whether your goal is to be monogamous or whether your goal is to make a commitment down the road, whether your goal is just to figure out who you're going to give your attention to, all of those things must be earned over time. And you have to know what your criteria is. You have to know what your boundaries are. You have to know the kind of future you want to have, and you need to be able to test the person that you're dating to see if they match that.
Okay, my issue with this is when you're dating somebody and you're dating multiple people, I think that has to be told. I think it has to be said out loud to the partner you're dating, because sometimes the person you're dating may assume that because they're only dating you, that you're only dating them. And then when they find out that maybe you're dating other people and sleeping with multiple people, that has implications.
It does have implications, and if you find that the person that is dating you is under the false assumption that you're in a monogamous relationship, you absolutely have to bring it to that person's attention. One of the things that I teach is that when you're dating somebody on the first or second date, that's when you need to say, look, I really like you, but I want to take things slow and I want to see where this goes. But if you have the opportunity to date other people, you're free to take it the way I'm free to take it. It's not an easy thing. People are afraid to be honest about this because many people have a fear of abandonment. Nobody wants to be abandoned for saying, look, I am seeing other people and I encourage you to do the same thing. A number of people are afraid to say, yes, you should be dating other people because they're afraid, if they do date other people, they're going to leave me.
Right. But that's I've heard that. I've certainly heard that where they don't want to tell, they like 2 people or 3 people. They like them all for different reasons, and they don't want to tell them, any of them, because they don't want to lose one of them or 2 of them. So, that's obviously a problem for some, but I think the honesty is very important in this situation. We're going to continue this conversation, and of course you can get involved in the conversation, and your chance to win, and actually, no, not your chance, you will get a weekend pass for the Solo Lifestyle show if you call within the next 15 minutes. You're listening to Passion on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Dating dilemmas tonight on Passion, and we got a lot of text messages. I had to refresh my screen because I saw nothing was there, and then now it's like full. So I apologize if you texted in and we didn't get to you or read your text, but I'll do it now. Hi, Dr. Laurie and Mr. Frank. Married women flirt with me. What does that mean? Are they serious or just having fun?
Chances are they're looking for attention and they're testing the waters, but if they are flirting and they're married, they may be open to more.
But they may also be just having fun.
It's a dangerous kind of fun. There's other ways to have fun.
Okay. Somebody else wrote, I smell great. I'm soaked in Gucci. Then somebody else wrote, first time I have ever heard that a guy will forsake cleanliness in a woman for sex. Gross. We didn't say he would forsake cleanliness, but maybe not focus on it so much.
If he's really, really aroused and he hasn't had it in a while and he has an opportunity, the way she smells, even if it's not great, may not deter him in that moment.
Boy, you're reducing men to something, eh? But we won't go there. All right, let's talk to Andrea. Hi, Andrea.
Hi there.
Hi.
Okay, I was wondering the age range of the people that are going to be going to this show.
To this? The age range for the Solo Lifestyle show?
For the Solo Lifestyle show, yeah.
I think it's all ages. I would venture to guess it's in probably the 30 to 50 range, I would think. Even lower, yeah. 25 top. 25 up is what I've been told. About from 25 on.
Like my thought of if I'm going to something like that, are there going to be a lot of quote unquote players there?
There may be.
That would scare me off from even going to an event like that.
No. You know what? I don't think that should scare you off. Frank, what do you think?
Andrea, if you really just want to avoid the players, there's only one thing you need to do, and that is simply stick to your boundaries, whatever they are. No player can make you do anything you don't want to do. Stick to your boundaries, and believe me, the players will disappear.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so you go, okay? You go.
I haven't dated in I think it's 13 years.
Okay,
so.
go visit Frank at his booth. He's there. He's going to talk to you. Let him talk you through it. He'll calm you down, and he'll tell you what to do. He's going to be right there. It's perfect. Perfect opportunity to get a little coaching while you're there.
That sounds like a great plan. Thank you so much.
All right, Andrea. Have a great time going.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. Somebody else wrote in, hi, Dr. Laurie and Frank, at work now, so can't call in. Quick question. Is it true men are intimidated by independent women? I can't do the meek woman thing to a guy, but seems that men are turned off by my independence, and I need a guy on same independent level. Meek men are a turnoff.
Are men sometimes intimidated? The fact is, yes, some men are intimidated. Those men that are not intimidated are also not going to be impressed by the fact that you're a strong woman who's independent. They're going to be asking, well, what can you do for me? If you want to be in my life, what do you offer as well? You being independent doesn't necessarily offer them anything. So beware that those guys who are not intimidated by you still need to be impressed by you, and your independence is not one of them.
So that's not the thing that's impressive.
No, they want to know, how are you going to support my lifestyle? How are you going to support me in the things that I'm passionate about?
How are you going to fit with me?
Yes.
In other words. All right. Dominic joins us on Passion. Hi, Dominic.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. Yourself?
Good, thank you. What's your comment or question?
So I had a question. It was about reading signals coming from the other person. I seem to have a little trouble doing that. We get to most of the flirting and the, getting to know each other and all that. That's all fine. But my problem is knowing when to go to the next step.
Okay, that's a good question. How does one know when to go to the next step, Frank?
A lot of this education is trial and error. Unfortunately, sometimes you're going to have to risk and make mistakes, and you're going to have to risk rejection. One of the rules I have is that if you get to the end of the date and you still haven't leaned over for a kiss, you always go in for that kiss at the end of the date. That good night kiss can turn a mediocre date into an absolutely fantastic date. So if at the end of the date you go for it and you're still getting a no, that's okay, no thanks, well, there was no interest in there by that point.
That's a good point.
Right from the get-go, that's a big signal.
Yeah, but I can tell you one thing. My husband had me at that first kiss. That was after that one first kiss. That was when I knew, yes, I'll go out with him again. Mm-hmm. So that can make a difference right there. Dominic, you're going to go to the show, okay?
Yep.
All right. You get the whole weekend to spend there at the Solo Lifestyle Show. Thanks for calling in. All right. Okay, bye-bye now. Bye. Again, that's the Solo Lifestyle Show. You can check it out online at vivreensolo.com. Still have a couple of tickets to give away for the whole weekend. And that is taking place at Place Bonaventure. You're listening to Passion on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Tonight we're talking with Frank Kermit for our Dating Dilemmas program. We're talking about seduction. By the way, if you go to his website, franktalks.com, he has some CD sets out there. One of them is Pimping Your Pad, a seminar on how to decorate your bachelor pad for seduction, which I think we'll have to talk about another time because that's... having seen the pictures of your pad, we gotta talk. But anyhow, for another night, Frank, I just want to get to some of these text messages. I may be wrong, but I find that seduction abilities are more useful for men than for women, as looks seem to suffice more often than not for men to be seduced, whereas women tend to look more for the emotional, intellectual connection. Basically, all I'm saying is if a man finds a woman beautiful, there's a chance for them to hit it off. However, if he doesn't find her attractive, it doesn't matter how seductive and charming the girl is, he won't go beyond sleeping with her. Unattractive men, however, can benefit a great deal from seduction lessons, as women can overlook physical appearance if he makes her laugh. Boy, he really has it, this guy. Has he been taking your classes?
He might have. Yeah. Except for one thing. Okay. He is missing one thing, and that is women don't struggle to get sex. They struggle to get commitment. When a woman learns to seduce a man, she's not looking to seduce him for sex. All she has to say is, okay. She'll get the sex. What she struggles is to find a guy who's going to commit to her and stick around for the long term. When a woman learns to seduce a man and address his emotional needs, it's all about whether or not he's going to pledge his life, his future, and his resources to benefit her.
Yeah, so really what we've been talking tonight is not about seducing to get into bed. Really, it's about seducing to make that long-term connection. That's what's been interesting tonight for me, is to hear that difference. Like, how do you... Because it may be a lot easier to seduce just for bed for sleeping with, but not, or for sex, let me just call it what it is, and, rather than for the relationship.
When I was working on myself so that I could learn this, I didn't see the point in putting in all that work for a one-night stand. I'm lazy that way. If I'm going to get a one-night stand out of it and I'm going to sleep with her on the first night, I want to make sure that I'm good enough that she keeps coming back so I don't have to work as hard the next time.
Right, exactly. Somebody says, or somebody wrote for Andrea, hey, Andrea, I love your voice. I'll go with you to the show. There you have it. I met a potential client who's 25 years and married. He started to flirt with me via text while he was drinking, and I am to meet him in his house next week. I'm going to take my male boss with me as I do not want to lose the sale. What? Is it worth it? I'm 46 and single. A 25-year-old does not turn me on. Oh, but maybe he's expecting more. You're going to do all that for a sale? Nah.
Yeah, let's be careful here, because this doesn't really show a good sense of judgment on your part, and I think your boss might pick up on that.
Yeah, maybe. Somebody else wrote, this is a big question, though. Dr. Laurie, is it possible to have a relationship with a girl with anorexia? Anything's possible, but you have to realize that you're working with someone who has issues that they need to work on that will have an impact on the relationship. So, hopefully this person is in treatment for the anorexia, because that can have repercussions right there. We've run out of time. I can't believe it. We could have kept going and going. I want to congratulate Margaret, Sarah, Debbie, Mike, Andrew, Dominic. You're all going to the Solo Lifestyle Show. And visit Frank's booth. He's the third one when you come in. You'll see him there. Go say hello to him, and he can give you a few pointers while you're there if you need it. And if you're nervous, he'll help you out. He'll calm you down, right? Frank?
That's my job.
Okay. Thank you, Frank, and we'll catch up with you next week. And there will not be this Saturday night one of Frank Talk's seminars because he's going to be doing one at the Solo Lifestyle Show. So for those of you going, don't go. That's it. If you need to reach me, passion@cjad.com. Thank you all for participating in the program. Thank you to the Solo Lifestyle Show for giving us all those tickets for you guys. That's great. And thank you to Brad Smith for his technical work.
Listen to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD and CJAD.com.
What do you do when you feel like a fool? When your heart has been broken again? Pick up the phone or get onto Skype and talk on a private session. Yeah, get a little help from Frank Talks. Whoa, get by with a little help from Frank Talks. You gotta try a little help from Frank Talks. What do you do when your love goes away? Try coaching one-on-one. How do I sign up to turn things around? Just sign up at franktalks.com. Yeah, get by with help from Frank Talks. I get by with little help from Frank Talks. Time to try a little help from Frank Talks. Doesn't cost a lot of money. It's the best rate going around. Could it cost a lot of money? Oh, it's worth every cent that you will put down. Yeah. FrankTalks.com. Oh, you got to go to get your help from FrankTalks.com. Yeah, yeah. FrankTalks.com. Would you believe that Frank gets results? Yes, we're certain. Just read the reviews. Frank knows his stuff, and Frank's got the goods. good love can soon come to you. Oh, yes, he does. Yeah, yeah. FrankTalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. Coaching available in person, by phone, and by Skype. For singles, couples, and alternative lifestyles, franktalks.com.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com. franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating and relationships? Visit franktalks.com.
FrankTalks.com, FrankTalks, FrankTalks.com,